they're reopening the investigation into the alleged 2018 sexual assault. This story is for people faint of heart. I'm going to give you a warning that there's a lot of issues when it comes to this story. It is graphic and very disturbing in nature, but it's also good to hear that Hockey Canada is now taking a step in the process of making changes when it comes to the culture that has been described at Hockey Canada, filled with lots of allegations of sexual assault. Well, when it comes to this, well, they're saying that they want to make sure that they earn the trust of the general public when it comes to their fans, the federal government, and corporate sponsors who have recently been pulling back when it comes to Hockey Canada. The sports team has been under fire nationally when it comes to a series of announcements in an open letter to Canadians that was published this morning, which essentially says that they're going to reopen a third-party investigation into the alleged sexual assault involving members of the country's 2018 World Junior team. Hockey Canada said that they're going to have the investigation, and they will require for those hockey players to participate. They said that the investigation by the players in question is mandatory, adding anybody who declines will be banned from all federation activities and programs effective immediately, which is a step they should have taken in 2018 because it was not mandatory for them to be part of the investigation. The organization previously said it strongly encourages players to take part in the investigation into the allegations of what took place and at a Hockey Canada function back in 2018 in the city of London, Ontario, but it didn't make it mandatory, and therefore they cannot release the names of potentially up to 8 hockey players that were involved in a sexual assault of an intoxicated woman who essentially couldn't give consent to the situation she faced, and she was sexually assaulted. And Hockey Canada CEO Scott Smith, he essentially took the role since July 1st, and he said that he's held various jobs at the Federation since 1995, but he says it's important when it comes to the overall number of people involved in the previous investigation. About 12 of 13 of the 19 players from the team, they were interviewed before the original and incomplete investigation concluded September of 2020, is now being opened up again under the new CEO, Scott Smith. Hockey Canada essentially quietly settled a lawsuit in May with a woman after she claimed she was assaulted by 8 players, including members of the country's 2018 gold medal winning junior team, and that was at that same event in London, Ontario, in a hotel room. None of the allegations have been proven in court, but what ended up happening is she was given money in what they made her sign is a non-disclosure agreement for her not to be able to talk about the issue. They gave the woman $3.55 million in damages from Hockey Canada due to the allegations of sexual assault. And from that, well, when it comes to sports minister, Pascale St-Onge, well, she said she's going to want a forensic audit of Hockey Canada to find out if government money was used to pay the victim in this case that has alleged that she was sexually assaulted by the hockey team. And then since Hockey Canada came back and said, no, we didn't use any government funding that comes to us, well, funding has been frozen, federal funding for Hockey Canada. And since then, a lot of the sponsors have pulled out that essentially support Hockey Canada. Hockey Canada receives $14 million from Ottawa. So that has been frozen as of last month. And when it comes to, and those are the numbers in 2020. So 14 million in 2020 and 2021. And that included $3.4 million in COVID subsidies from Ottawa, according to government records. And since then, companies that have been funding Hockey Canada when it comes to specific events like Scotiabank, Telus, Tim Hortons, Imperial Oil, and Esso brands have all paused or some of them have withdrew their funding for Hockey Canada. So Hockey Canada wants to change their culture, they say, and they want to earn the trust of people, and when it comes to the federal government and their sponsors and their fans.